I remember a couple of years ago, I'd just gone through a divorce and I was alone. And I remember thinking, I never really gave Elder Scrolls Online a try, and I wanted to try something new. So I decided I would give Elder Scrolls Online a try. For the first time, I set the game downloading and began to play the game. I remember going for a walk that evening, waiting for the launcher to install the game's content, and I remember spawning into the tutorial area of the game and enjoying my first impressions on the tutorial island. And I guess what impressed me about Elder Scrolls was the depth of lore, the sense of geography, of cartography of place that exists in the game, that you just can't help but get immersed in this idea that you are part of something kind of real. Real because it's 30 years of lore building and fandom and effort that transformed what was just another computer game into a franchise that very few people have never heard of. Even if you're not a gamer, chances are you've heard of the Elder Scrolls. It's a name that's a household name, sort of like Lord of the Rings. You don't have to be a Lord of the Rings fan to probably know what Lord of the Rings is. You've likely heard of the franchise, you've heard of the book, even if you're not into the genre. And it's the same way with Elder Scrolls. And that's something that's special, whether we're talking about the mainline RPGs like Skyrim or Oblivion, or we're talking about the new Elder Scrolls Online MMO. Being able to be part of that universe is pretty cool. And anytime people are able to create something that permeates the public consciousness to the degree that Elder Scrolls has, that's special, because it's transcended mere entertainment and turned into something with a literary value. You can't say that about most games. Like lately, I've been playing a lot of Black Desert Online, and I think that game is actually a pleasant surprise in the sense that there's a lot I liked about it. And I still intend to continue playing it to finish questing and leveling my characters. But what I can't help but notice is that no matter how good the game is, it doesn't have the established credibility that makes it feel like something you can, I guess, make a hobby out of. I think even if you never played the Elder Scrolls again, you could still say you're an Elder Scrolls fan, because there's so much stuff you can collect and lore you could read about and art books you can buy and all of that kind of stuff. There's just this vast community of people of all different types, all different ages, who play the game and enjoy that sense of escape that it brings. Especially as I continue to focus more on being present in the moment and not focusing so much on trying to achieve some sort of a specific goal, not trying to chase a destination, but just enjoying the presence of being somewhere. Elder Scrolls Online feels like its design philosophy fits that ethos very well, because it's the kind of a game where you could do a lot of quests, but you could also just not really quest at all, just hang out and explore places and gather things and just aimlessly exist in the world. And that's really nice. The pacing, the way characters are designed, the fact that you can easily just kind of take your time and immerse yourself in the world without feeling like you're under any pressure to necessarily do anything. It's something that I think fits in both with a sort of a cozy, chill way of looking at life and gaming, to also be a thing where it respects your time, because you're not feeling like you need to achieve some particular thing in order to fully experience the entirety of the game. That's something I do like about level scaling, and I am critical of level scaling because I think it makes the combat feel really brain dead in a way. And I do wish that there was a way to increase the overall sense of difficulty and reward in the overworld for Elder Scrolls Online. That's my biggest gripe about the game, but it's also one of the biggest things that I ultimately enjoy about Elder Scrolls Online. The fact that there really isn't this sense that, you know, I can go to the late game zones if I grind for a certain number of hours first. There's none of that. It's just, if you want to go somewhere, you can go somewhere. If you want to just enjoy the environment of the game, you don't have to worry that you're going to be killed by aggressive monsters every time you venture into a place off the beaten path. There's just a lot of reasons why the one Tamriel update, the level scaling system in ESO is it's a mixed bag. There's reasons to not like it, but there's also reasons to really enjoy the way it opens up the game to everybody, so that you can just really just enjoy the experience and be present in the moment and experience the game not as a competition but as a work of art. There are some things I don't like about Elder Scrolls art direction in recent times. I don't like the tendency to get the feeling that developers are injecting social justice and social politics stuff into the game, like the whole non-binary elf that they put in there recently as a companion. I don't really dig that. It gets on my nerves. But anytime you see that overt DEI stuff being forced into a game. But then I've also looked at it and I've thought, you know, let's just put it in perspective. You know, it's 30 years worth of lore, and I don't like every single bit of lore about Elder Scrolls Online. I'm not passionate about all of it. What I love is the world building. I love the scale of the cities, the fact that you can just hit the road and see where the path takes you, and almost anywhere you go in the game, you're going to see landscapes and environments that just really kind of take your breath away and make you feel like you want to hit the screenshot button. And those kinds of things just do so much to make the game feel like something you don't want to turn away from. I think that's really the test. When you take a break from a game, like I took a break from Elder Scrolls Online for the last couple months or so, really, and I can't stop thinking about the game. I can't stop thinking about the stuff I love about it. And I think about that experience of having something new to dive into at a time in my life when I really think I needed something new, something to take my mind off of where I'd been and immerse in something that would capture my imagination in a completely new way. And I think it's been a privilege and really a blessing to be able to experience the wonder of what Tamriel is for the first time in my 30s in 2024, because there's so many people who played through Skyrim back in the day, and they will say, man, that was an incredible experience, and I wish I could have that experience all over again. But you just can't experience it again for the first time, because the first time was a long time ago. But for me, experiencing Tamriel in all of the different forms it exists, the first time for me has been now. It's been the last couple of years, and the games are not perfect. Skyrim's not a perfect game. Elder Scrolls Online is not a perfect game, but they are games that capture the essence of fantasy gaming in a way that very few other franchises ever have. I think the Lord of the Rings managed to do that before the gaming age, but the Elder Scrolls managed to do that for a new age of gamers. Elder Scrolls started off as a PC game, and it has continued to exist in the PC gaming space. So you can't really compare Elder Scrolls with Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings was a fantasy novel. It was something that predates personal computers and the gaming genre. So to be able to do something that's even close to what Tolkien managed to do in gaming, and to make it last for decades and continue to have an active player base that's devoted and excited about the franchise so many years down the road, and it probably will continue to be a beloved franchise for decades to come. That's just such an incredible thing, and there's been very few games like that. I think Genshin Impact actually stands out as another game that's that way, a game that captured people's imaginations, and they'll continue to talk about it for years to come. And there's collectibles, there's memorabilia, there's fan conventions, all of that kind of stuff, where you have a game that is so beloved by so many people that you can actually have a convention or something that's actually just about one title, not about gaming in general. In any case, I just like all of that stuff, and I think ESO is just a game. I don't think I can really walk away from it completely. I think it's a title that has so much good going for it that even if there's some things that I don't like, there's also a lot that I do like, and the game has managed to be such an important part of my life. I think it's something that'll probably continue to be part of my life for years to come in various forms. I do want to finish a playthrough of Skyrim. I want to play through Oblivion, probably Morrowind too eventually, and continue picking away at the quests and ESO, and watch to see, what the new updates are going to continue to be as the years pass. I hope to one day see the central part of Skyrim appear in ESO. I think that would be really cool to finish up the map so that you could actually walk all the way around Tamriel in the game without having any interruptions. In any case, it all comes down to enjoying the destination, the journey, not the destination. That's what it's really all about. And I think we get so distracted by stuff that's not really that important. Like if you look on YouTube, there's always somebody there to say why the game sucks, or why the most recent update is problematic, or why devs are out of touch, or whatever it might be. And that's true for any game. But my goodness, somebody said we're too late to explore the earth, and we're too early to to explore the stars, and we're just in time to experience the golden age of gaming. So whether you're 16 or 65, whether you're a diehard MMO fan or a generalist that plays all sorts of different games, I think there's something that scratches the itch of imagination. There's something special about gamers, because at the end of the day, we're all kind of pragmatic in a way. We're the kind of people who understand that there's something special to be found in a sense of imagination, something special and magical about being lost in a world that doesn't exist, and understanding that sometimes the things which are not real at all are more real, are more meaningful than all of the things that the serious people of the world will say matter so much. You know, like everybody's going on, you know, some kind of a craze about, you know, the price of Bitcoin or Donald Trump or what's going on in the Middle East or you know, any number of social politics type things that are capturing people's attention. And you know, by all means, I believe that there's a time when you need to stand up and you need to have an opinion and you need to do the things that you need to do to protect your liberties or protect yourself or protect your neighbors or protect your country. We all have to serve sometimes, and you never really know. You never know when something serious is going to come up, and you're going to have to do what you can to step up to the plate and serve your country or make personal sacrifices. But what's the point of life if we don't revel in the abstracts and the things which capture our imagination? Isn't that the reason why we do all of the physical things we do in life? So that we can think about our life, so we can contemplate existence, so that we can engage in fantastic dreams? Isn't that the point of it all? And I really believe it is. And that's why I think we should let go of a lot of the things that divide us, a lot of the things that we get distracted by, a lot of the doom scrolling, a lot of the pointless stuff that gets said on social media. All of that stuff, we need to let go of it and instead, you know, focus on things which edify and inspire. Focus on the things which maybe they don't exist in a physical way, but they do exist in the sense that they can be a touch point for renewing our faith in ourselves and each other, and maybe picturing some of those things, those abstract ideas that we can't quantify, but they give us a sense that we're part of something greater than ourselves, that we're you know, destined for you know, something higher than mere existence. And I think Elder Scrolls does a good job of captivating that mentality of wonder. And I think the people who enjoy those sorts of games are probably more likely to be the kind of people I would want to spend time with or get to know than the dry, boring people who are always focused on things they think are serious. You know, I think there's definitely a lot of people, if you took away their job and you took away Donald Trump and you took away the raging against something in politics and you took away the cryptocurrency and, you know, all those little things, like you took away the stuff that they worship, well, there's not really anything left, because they're so busy worshiping things, the material things of the world, they don't have a chance to really know who they are and what really is truth. Well, truth is when you look up in the sky at night, you enjoy the stars, and you maybe log into a game and get lost in the imagination of a fantasy world and contemplate the lore of it all. It's all those things that make us ponderous and make us realize that there's more to life than just the daily fight. As someone once said, I think, therefore I am. And I think we live in a time when there's so many distractions. There's always a cause to make us not think about anything, because we're always supposed to be going for the clickbait and jumping on the bandwagon of the latest new thing and getting enraged about whatever people on social media want us to be enraged about. You know, I really believe that it's important to be in the middle. Like, I've made videos talking about how, like, why do I support Trump and why do I oppose activist liberalism and stuff? But then by the same measure, like, I'm a person who voted for Barack Obama, and like, I might vote for a Democrat next time around, like, who knows? And that's something that's unsettling to a lot of people, because I'm very willing to change my position arbitrarily based on what I feel makes sense to be in the moment. And despite the fact that people may not agree with me, the fact is I usually don't dramatically disagree with anyone. I can see where most people are coming from. It's just anytime people start to become too extreme in their opinions and too inclined to exist in one particular echo chamber of choice, then I just I guess I take the other side at that point. But in a time of divisiveness, it's also important for us to have a place where we can talk about just about anything, and we can have an inclusive space that's not really divided along partisan lines. And I think if you look back over 30 years, this is mostly a Elder Scrolls themed talk today. Think about all the different political things that have happened, all the different shifts in ideology and perspective in popular culture that have happened over the last 3 decades. And through all of it, you've had these RPGs. You've had Tamriel existing through it all. And isn't that kind of amazing that we've been able to be united on the love of a fictional world that doesn't even exist, through all of the different crazy things that have happened in the world. And if you look at the places where people have all sorts of adversity, you'll actually also find that they do like things that help them to lift up their eyes and focus on other things. Sometimes it's especially important when you have to face hardship in real life to have something that's an escape from it all, and something that can unify everyone in a simple way around a game or something like that. So I'd be remiss if I didn't close with just saying that the best part about gaming is not the games, really. It's the community. It's the people who play them. It's the people who ultimately share this understanding that there's something special there. And it doesn't matter what your politics are, where you're from, or any of that. Because at the end of the day, like, we're all gamers. We all understand that being able to escape into a land of myth and fantasy is something that's important to nurturing the well-being of the soul. Wherever you find yourself, whatever game world you immerse yourself in, wish you the very best. And as always, whether we're talking about in game or in life, remember, it's always about the journey, not the destination. And remember, alone, it is a journey, but together, it's an adventure. So let's lay aside all the things that would divide us and stress us out and cause friction, and remember, we're all in this adventure together. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.